My plan actually was to make one video including all the 3 games from this trilogy, but I found such a big difference in terms of HDR between those 3 games. That's why I decided to make my own trilogy, and today we're starting with Crysis Remastered. And always keep in mind, all my settings, all my findings are based on my LG CX 65-inch. So even if you're using exactly the same TV, it is very unlikely that you end up with the same results. But feel free to try my testing because you can't harm anything. But I need to be honest with you. I don't like HDR in this game at all. But before we go into more details, first things first. Okay, so let's talk about the HDR Calibration Menu on the PlayStation 5, and even I can't prove it, I'm quite sure the same counts for the Xbox Series. I couldn't find any evidence that those settings having any impact on the game. So that means the game does not support those settings. So it really doesn't matter what you set up here, there is no difference at all. So this wouldn't be a big problem if we would have something like HDR settings or sliders in the game, but unfortunately, there's nothing. Okay, that's not entirely true. We have exactly one setting when it comes to HDR. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's jump to option. Let's go to audio video settings. Let's go to graphics. We have HDR on off. That's all what we got. This brightness setting is just working when you untick HDR here. So this is really just for HDR gameplay. But as soon as you play in HDR, this brightness setting has no impact in the game. And yeah, this is very bad because again, I don't like HDR in this game at all. It doesn't look good. And I'm quite sure my camera can't show you at the moment what I'm seeing on the picture or on the screen. But we're having very bad banding as soon as we're turning on HDR. And all the bright objects like the sun here, or where actually HDR is supposed to be, we have a lot of banding. And I tried, of course, a couple of different settings on my LG CX, like the PC mode. I tried different output options on the PlayStation 5, like RGB and YCPCR, but those banding effects on the screen are always there. And they're absolutely ugly and not very nice to look at. So I took a couple of pictures to actually show you what I'm talking about. Have a look on those. When we're talking about the maximum peak brightness from HDR in this game, I can't complain at all. I was able to measure in dynamic tone mapping on 706 candela in very bright objects like the sun here. In HDR, I was able to measure 643 candela, which is still okay. So in terms of the peak brightness, I'm quite happy. In terms of the visual quality from the HDR effects, not at all. So for me, there's just one recommendation how to play this game. Make sure you play it in HDR, but also in SDR. Can't follow me? Okay, let me explain what I'm talking about. When we go into the PlayStation 5 menu, we have our HDR settings here under screen and video. So make sure this is set to always on or on when supported. In terms of Crysis 1 Remastered, doesn't matter. This game will start in HDR because it officially supports HDR. So when you're in the game, like here, we go to the option menu and you go to audio video settings, graphic, and you untick HDR. Make sure brightness setting is set to 50. I found this is the best value because now this setting actually has an impact on the game. So and I found 50 is actually quite good when I can do it again. Okay, maybe not. Okay, now. Okay, make sure this is unticked. Go back to the game and also, and now the menu is gone unfortunately, make sure you're using dynamic tone mapping on, not HDR and not dynamic tone mapping off, because you will lose a lot of brightness. Here HDR and dynamic tone mapping off, no difference. Dynamic tone mapping on gives you a much higher peak brightness. So I was able to measure the very same object as in HDR with 518 candela in this fake HDR SDR mode, which of course, you miss a little bit of the maximum peak brightness, but this right now looks so much better. And again, I took a couple of pictures. Have a look. Okay, my friends, that's enough for this video. And if you're new to my channel and you're wondering why I'm not showing you a little bit more gameplay material, this is really just because I don't want to spoil it too much. I will do most likely first impression videos from all these 3 titles. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and then you can watch them later. So in terms of HDR, I'm not disappointed because I was not expecting very much, to be very honest. This game is from 2007. Back then, 2007, there was nothing in terms of HDR. But what I think is they did a very bad job in implementing HDR in the remastered version. Okay, that's my opinion, and that's why I would not recommend to play this game in HDR. Play it in fake HDR / SDR. Okay, so make sure you start this game in HDR, untick HDR in the in-game settings, and leave brightness settings to 50, and also make sure dynamic tone mapping is set to on to get the higher peak brightness, and then you end up with this very nice picture. I agree, we're missing a little bit of the maximum peak brightness compared to HDR, but at least we don't have this very ugly banding anymore. This really looks like a very nice sun. I really like the picture here. Do not play it in HDR, okay? So in terms of Crysis 2 and 3, I can already tell you it is much better. It is so much better. It is like day and night difference in terms of HDR. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but watch my videos. I will do the next video, of course, is Crysis 2 and then Crysis 3. But again, HDR in those titles so much better. And I have even a big surprise. I was not expecting this at all. But again, you can see this in my next videos. This time I'm finished. I hope you had fun. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you leave me a comment. I really like to know what you think about the HDR implementation in this game, if you feel the same as I do. So, and that's it. Leave me a like, of course. Okay, so over and out. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. I think I said this already. Anyway, okay, I see you guys next time. Over and out. Bye.